Am I wrong for kicking my mom out at 6 a.m.? My mom and I have a very complicated relationship, to put it lightly. Over the past few years, my relationship with her has slowly dwindled. Until now, we barely speak to each other. After we moved houses, I did not tell my mom the new address. My wife and I have been married for 6 years and have a 4-year-old daughter together. My mom doesn't like my wife. They've only met a handful of times, but my mom cannot go a few minutes without making a snarky comment or insulting her. She's also only met my daughter 3 times, and continually suggests that my daughter isn't mine. 2 nights ago, my wife and I went on a date. It was the most fun I think I've had in ages, and it was fun to just get out of the house and experience something new. My daughter was staying with my in-laws, so we didn't have to worry about her bedtime. We ended up getting home at around 1 a.m. When we arrived, we found my mom sitting by my front door. My wife and I are very confused. We thought that she didn't know where we lived, so it's especially confusing when she's here at 1 a.m. Immediately, when she sees us, she starts yelling at the both of us for being neglectful parents and not being home. This only added to our confusion. She says that she came to our house at 8 p.m. to visit her grandchild and was left waiting for hours. She says that she couldn't call because she lost her phone, but she was so worried that we had left our daughter in the house by herself, so worried that she was going to walk to a police station. It took almost 10 minutes to explain that my daughter was safe. It was too late to send her in an Uber, so we decided to let her spend the night. She was refusing to answer any of our basic questions. How did she find out where we lived? How did she get all this way without a car and no phone? Etc. Instead of answering, she would start screaming, like throwing a tantrum, and claim that we were causing more stress than needed on an already stressful night. I think my wife and I were both too tired to keep pushing for answers. My wife offered to make her something to eat, and when she was asked about any allergy or preferences, she assured my wife that she would eat anything. She wouldn't. My wife made some rice, chicken stew, and some vegetables. My mom spit it out on the floor and told my wife to make her a grilled cheese, like a good little bitch. I was upstairs preparing the guest bedroom, so I did not hear this, but my wife tells me how offended she was. She ended up making the sandwich, mostly to avoid a big argument. After all that, I told my mom that I wanted her gone by 6 a.m. If she didn't leave, I would have no problem dragging her out myself. She took offense to this and cursed my wife out, but eventually went to sleep. At 6 a.m., I woke her up, and as promised, I kicked her out. She tried to resist, but I managed. My wife, though she agreed with the original plan, thought I might have been a little too harsh. Am I the AH? Am I wrong for yelling at my brother for stealing my food to give to his baby? I, 22-year-old female, recently moved in with my mom after I left an abusive relationship. It's temporary, probably 6 months, while I get my finances sorted. I work 60 hours a week and am also in school. My older brother, 26-year-old male, has lived with my mom for 3 years with his girlfriend and 1-year-old baby. They do not work, my mom pays for everything. I have type 1 diabetes and am gluten intolerant. I have a labeled special basket of food in the pantry that has gluten-free stuff in it. Gluten-free food is significantly more expensive, and then in my room, I keep juice boxes and other emergency snacks for low blood sugar episodes. My mom asked that I put a few of my low blood sugar snacks in the basket in the pantry, so in case of emergency, she can get one for me as she'll know where it is. Last night, I got home from my shift around 8 p.m. I went on a quick run, and then when I got home, my sensor started going off, indicating I had very low blood sugar. It was at 38 and dropping. I felt very ill and lightheaded, and my mom went into the pantry to get me something to help, but all my stuff was gone. The entire basket was empty. My mom asked if someone had moved my stuff, and my brother said his baby was hungry and really wanted my food, so he gave it to him. Luckily, my sister, 13, had been paranoid and decided to keep some of my snacks in her room as well in case ran out, and she quickly got me a juice box and snack. I snapped at my brother and said that there were a million more snacks he could have given the baby, but my brother said that my health isn't more important than his child. My mom says it was just a misunderstanding, but my sister is on my side and said he did it intentionally. Am I the AH? Am I wrong for not helping my mother while her husband battles cancer and she's dealing with her own health problems? I, 19-year-old female, was asked by my mother to help out with her stepkids, who she considers her kids, while her husband undergoes cancer treatments and she's trying to get on top of her own health, which has been impacted after she was told she's got long COVID. The history between us is not the brightest, and I had cut her off when I moved out over a year ago. But she tracked me down and asked for my help, saying she needs me. I told her I wasn't going to help her, and it's not going over well. I've had some of my mother's family tell me I am behaving like a child and should be there for my family. I disagree, and I have no desire to help any of them, but I want to know what others think, so here I am. My dad died when I was 5 years old. My mother didn't date anyone until she met her husband when I was 10. He was a recent widower of like 3 months and his kids were both under 2. My mother decided she was going to be their mother and that we were all going to be a family. But her focus after that point was more on them than me. She often used the excuse that they were little and needed more, but the disparity was felt by me from pretty much day one of living together. We no longer went to the beach near where I grew up on my dad's anniversary and wrote our 3 names in the sand, like we had done before that. She actually tried to instead do it with all our names on her wedding anniversary and said it was an even better tradition, which I disagreed with. If her husband was working, she would tell me as time needed to be with us and her step-kids, or we would need to cancel it for that month. Yet, she would always make sure to put one down for a nap and cuddle with the other, or read to one of them, or take them separately for ice cream. She got them into extracurriculars young and showed up to every little event, but not so much for mine. She sent her husband to mine a few times. She'd also tell me to ask him for some quality time instead of her. She refused to cook my favorite meal for my birthday after she got married because her step-kids couldn't eat it. But I had to eat their favorite meal for theirs. I was supposed to have a procedure done for endometriosis, diagnosed at 14, but she kept calling it off because her oldest step-kid was getting braces and that took priority. On my 18th birthday, I packed up all my stuff and she asked me where the hell I was going. I told her I was leaving since it was clear I had been made less of a priority by her once she became a stepmom. She told me that wasn't true, but that she had wanted me to turn to her husband more. I told her I had never wanted him, I wanted her, my mom. That I wasn't going to replace my dad just because she found someone she wanted to marry. She said that part of being the oldest is accepting that you are not the priority anymore. I told her I didn't accept that and plenty of people prioritized all of their kids. We haven't spoken like actual talking since. All her requests were done via DMs. Am I the AH here? That's it for today's story time. Enjoy the rest of the video.